How do I find people to pay me? I would say instead, what are 15 dream audiences that I could really serve in a powerful way? Start there. And then say, and what do I need to be speaking to them about? What do they need to hear? And then how do I get to decision makers? What information do they need to have? Do they need to have a letter from me? Do they need to see some video? How do I present that as, instead of, hey, how could you pay me? How could I serve you in this audience? The message about story that Harris shares. So how story can change your bottom line, increase retention, increase length of, client acquisition, whatever it is he's selling. That's findable and fundable. Is story fundable? Nope. There's not a budget item that says story learnings. Is retention findable and fundable? Yep. Is workplace friction, team leadership issues? Yep. So you have to approach it from that way. Otherwise, you're coming at with a very scarcity mindset. If nobody knows who you are as of today, whose job is it to know you're in business? It is not their job to remember that you're in business. Whose job is it? It's your job. So you have to be posting things. I can promise you, I could go to half of your social media profiles. I won't do it live. I could go to half of them and they would not have pictures of you speaking. They would not say that you're a speaker. They would not be talking about why you do what you do. You go to mine and Harris's page and you're going to see a microphone in one out of every 3 shots, or us in front of an audience somewhere, or us on a plane because we're going to do something, or even just an article or a conversation with a client. I was talking with a client today and XYZ. So if you're hiding what they do, then that's why they don't know who you are. The reason you're not more open about who you are is because you're afraid somebody's going to hire you and you're not ready yet, or perfect enough yet, or whatever yet, or you're worried about what a friend or the parent or somebody's going to say. We got to get over ourselves. Ego doesn't pay well. Quit worrying about what they're saying, and know that if we're consistently showing up and telling people who we are, then people will start learning who we are. I speak very rarely in my hometown. I live in Arlington, Texas, between Dallas and Fort Worth. It's a big town, 400,000. I speak here about once every 2 years. Your local stuff that you're doing is probably not going to get you a lot of gigs. You need to be on podcasts. You need to have your own podcast, or you need to be doing articles. My most popular article to date was about Jamie Lee Curtis, the one I wrote about the Oscars the other day. Just a Facebook rant that I wrote about Jamie Lee Curtis, and about she's been acting for 40 years and never had a nomination, and she's 64 years old. She's been cheering for other people for 40 years. Her parents were both nominated and never earned an Oscar. It's like mini viral right now. I've gotten speaking requests because of me amplifying Jamie Lee Curtis. I probably haven't seen half of her work, just a couple of things, but I'm constantly, when I'm sharing things, I share them not for authority. This is a big difference. I don't share things for authority, but I share them with authority. So what did that say about Jamie Lee Curtis? That she did this and that? Well, I think we as business owners, we sometimes this, and we don't this, that, and that. It occurs to me that, so I share it with authority, not for authority. If I want to share things for authority, I could share pictures of my cap and gown from my degrees. I could be holding my book all the time. I could, a little bit of that goes a really, really long way. It's like leaven in the lump, right? It goes a really long way. Instead, I share things with authority. So Dave, if you're really confident about what you're talking about, and you make sure your small posts and your big posts talk about the things that you're doing, that's super helpful. Nobody has ever offered to let me drive away with a new car when I said, oh, that's not in the budget. They've never said, oh, okay, well, what is your budget? We'll just chop off that amount. No, they'll say, okay, let's look at how this might work. This might look like this. This might look like a creative payment structure. This might look like a different model. This might look like whatever. So I think you have to sometimes just distance yourself from the fact that you are the product. I think it's sometimes easier when you create what's called an offer stack. This is something that I work with clients on a lot in the premium pricing program. It's intimidating when you say, oh, my keynote fee is $20K, because then everybody's like, oof, one line item for $20K. I never ever do that. The way I commonly work with clients is I really think it's a disservice to do a hit and run approach of one keynote. So what I'd rather do is, considering the needs of your organization over the next 12 to 18 months, I'd rather us partner together, and I'd rather speak at these 2 events, plus do some leadership coaching with your top team. And what that typically looks like with clients is blah, 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 and it's in the 6-figure range, right? Or you might prefer to do just the one-time event keynote, in which case, okay, these words are very important. In this case, that package includes up to half a day with me, which is 1 or 2 keynotes, in addition to a VIP, like photo repeat, signature line, whatever you want to put in that, lunch with the executive team, 6 signed books, blah, 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 whatever you want to put in that for 20K. Okay. And they say, really? Our budget's only 15. That all sounds amazing. So we've gone in, instead of saying, oh, my keynote is 20, we've gone in now saying, okay, most of my clients, we do this 6-figure thing, or we have this 20K package. And they say, oh, well, we just need one keynote. Our budget's only 15. And then I can say, okay, Harris, have you considered looking at this budget, sponsor, whatever? If they still say it's 15, like the CEO is really like non-negotiable. Okay, so let's look at the keynote package. What would you like to remove from there in order to get us where we need to be? What are you willing to give up from that list? So the shift is, how do I find people willing to pay me so that I don't have to discount myself? Instead, you're saying to them, what are you willing to give up? Angie, you've been saying, okay, I'm willing to give up part of my fee in order to come speak on your stage. You say, hey, Chick-fil-A, what are you willing to give up in order to have me speak on your stage? So you put all the yummy things in their hand, and then you say, which of those things are you giving back to me because you only have such and such budget? 7 out of 8 times, they want it all. They want everything that's in their hand. Sometimes they'll come back and do the big corporate thing. The corporate thing's super easy to close, by the way, if you have that skill set, but it's price anchoring, and it's a position of them giving up what they want to give up. Okay, so it's not important for you that we do a photo meet and greet at your cocktail reception. Great, let's take that off. Okay, so what else would we like to remove? Okay, so just the keynote for 15, great. And guess what? They feel like they got a great deal. And so do you. Who loves that? Wave at the camera if you love that. And it helps you because then you don't feel like they're chopping away at you and questioning your worth. Yeah. It's what do they want this experience to be worth? And here's what that package looks like. You have to move from promoting and pitching to partnering. I've never said that before, Harris. Write that down somewhere. That was really good. To partnering with them. You want to partner with them. That changes the game. Moneyball with Brad Pitt. It's a baseball movie. I watch it about once a year. I know, it's kind of weird. And he says, you know, this was never about winning. This whole concept was never about winning. I really want to change the game. I really want to change the game. And that's how I feel about pricing and speaking and authority-driven businesses is we have to quit thinking that they're doing us favors. Like nobody is doing me a favor by putting me on their stage. Like if you want to do me a favor, let me sit by my pool in the sunshine and broadcast it. Like that would be a favor. I'd still get to do my work and also be in the sunshine, but nobody's doing me a favor by that. I am helping facilitate some kind of growth or change with their audience, their organization, or their event. If you don't really believe that, then you need not to be in the business of coaching or authoring or speaking or any of it. If you don't believe you can facilitate some change and make a difference, then stop. So if you can change from pitching and promoting to partnering, I can promise you that it changes price and value in your head.